Hi, today we'll be coding a solution to this challenge I recently launched on Twitter, and we're going to see how we can tie to the exact same declarations both the tile background and the animation delay. Now, as you can see, we have each color once per column and once per row. So this means that the number of colors gives us the number of columns and the number of rows. So we get a square grid. So let's get that number of columns and of rows. So that's going to be the length of this array, and the total number of tiles on the grid is going to be n times n. So, right now we're going to have a loop and generate all the tiles on the grid. So let I going from 0 all the way up to m, increment this at every step and generate a tile element. And on the body, in a style attribute, we'll be setting n as a custom property. So this way we're passing it to the CSS so that if we change the length of that list, we add more colors or we take out some of the colors, then we don't need to make any changes to the CSS. The grid adjusts automatically. So let's just see how that works. So on the body, we're going to have display grid, and then we're going to set grid template, and let's get the edge length of a tile. So let's say that we're going to use the minimum viewport dimension over n. Now here we're going to have a repeat n, that edge length for one tile, and we're going to have the exact same thing for the columns as we had for the rows. Okay, now we don't see anything, so let's set a box shadow, 0 offsets, 0 blur, and just set, let's minimize the JS, we won't be having any JS. Now you can see we get that scroll bar, so let's get rid of it, margin 0. Okay, and this kind of looks okay. Let's also set place content center, and the thing is, you can see it's still not in the center vertically, and that's because the height of the body is given by the height of its content, which is that grid. So let's explicitly set the height of the body to the full viewport height. Okay, so now it's in the middle, and let's say that we don't really want that to be, okay, it's going to be a bit smaller, that's good. Now, next step, let's move on to the animations. So keyframes, we're going to start with the scaling one because it's simpler. So here we're going to have scale, and let's also set an animation duration. And here we're going to have animation, that scaling animation, the animation duration, let's say ease out, infinite, alternate, so something like that. Okay, now we're going to take this once more, and we're going to have a rotation. Let's replace this with a background. Let's actually set something like a dark background, not quite black, but still pretty dark, so something like that. That should do it. And I think we can just collapse that. Now here we're going to have a rotation animation. This one is going to go up to a rotate 1 turn, right? And we're going to have something pretty similar here. So we're going to have that rotation animation, twice the animation duration. We're going to leave the default there, like that. And let's say we can do something like this here. Okay, but we don't have any delay, so let's take care of that. We're going to take that loop and create a similar one within a style element. This one is going to go up to n, right? So first up, we're going to set an index for the columns. So tile nth child, and not nth child, nth of type, because we also have that style element before the tiles, and it's a sibling, and that's going to mess up nth child. So every n tiles, we are going to have, that's going to be I plus 1, and it's plus 1 because the nth of type index is 1 based and the loop index is 0 based. And we're going to set a column index to the loop index, and then we're also going to set indices for the rows. So here we're going to have after all the tiles on the previous rows, so that's going to be n times the current row index. So here we're going to set the row. Now, having done this, we can have an animation delay here. Okay, and so that's good. Calc. So I plus j, right, and all over n times the animation duration. So let's see that. Okay, but we want this to be already started, so let's subtract 1. So at the beginning, okay, that's good. Now one more thing, the background. Here we're going to set a gradient stop list. So this one is going to be, we're going to use interpolation, and we're going to map that list of colors. So we're going to have the current item at index I. This is going to give us, so that current item, the color, 0%, and then we're going to again interpolate, and we're going to have I plus 1 over n times 100, and this is going to be a percentage value. So here we can use a linear gradient, and we can use that gradient stop list, G. So something like that. Okay, you can see it's starting to look like something. Let's use 90 degrees, and we're going to use a dummy positioning, and we're going to set the size to n times the edge length. So n times that edge length. Okay, and now we're going to change the position. So we're going to have calc, and again we're going to have I plus j, so like we have right there, times the edge length. Let's see it. Okay, and it doesn't go in the direction that we want, so let's multiply with -1 there. So that should do it. Okay, and now if we uncomment to use all of those colors, okay, for some reason it doesn't update, but it really should. Okay, now it works. Okay, so this is what I wanted to show you for today. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you like the work that I've been putting out since early 2012 and you want me to be able to do more in the future, please consider supporting it. You can do so by being a cool cat and becoming a patron on Patreon. The link is going to be in the description, or you can get me something off my Amazon wishlist. Again, the links are going to be in the description. Or you can at least share this to show the world what can be done with CSS these days, because honestly, I think it's pretty damn cool. In any event, thanks for watching, and until next time, bye!